Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Andy. I tell ancient Chinese stories. If you think China is so weird, you have to dig into its long history to understand the Chinese culture and civilization. I can't tell you the future of China, but I can tell you its past, story by story. Who founded the Chinese herbal medicine? Why was Confucius embarrassed by a farmer? What's the difference between Chinese herbal medicine and Western medicine? A simple introduction of a few kinds of Chinese herbals and their functions is all in today's stories. Shen is another ancient ancestor of Chinese people. Shen literally means god of farming. He was also called Yan Di, the hot emperor, and nicknamed the Burning Mountain. The earliest farming is to burn the vegetation in an area and bury the ashes as fertilizer. I can still remember when I was a kid, grandparents made a big smoke by burning straws, but it is illegal today because it polluted the air. Farmers use chemical fertilizer now. It's easier and more productive. So, it's hard to find real organic food in China. I mean the real organic food, not labeled organic food. But it is worldwide and inevitable. Another important thing in farming is ox. So, the ancient Chinese people put horns on the head of a god of farming as a gratitude to ox. At that time, people had already knew how to pick fruits and seeds from different plants in different seasons, but they didn't know how to farm. Once, there was a beautiful divine bird flew over god of farming. The divine bird gave him a bunch of grain seeds. God of farming believed that these seeds were the gift from God of heaven. He buried the seeds and got more seeds later. Then he gave the seeds to the people in his tribe and taught them how to plant it. That was the earliest agricultural industry in China. God of farming also invented farming tools such as stone axe, ox-borne spade, etc. God of farming tried with other plants and obtained 5 kinds of grains. China had been an agricultural country for thousands of years. 5 grains is common sense in ancient China. In 496 BC, Confucius traveled with his students to 8 kingdoms within 14 years. Once, one of his students were left behind. He wanted to catch up with Confucius and others. He met a farmer and asked him politely, "Uncle, did you see my teacher?" The farmer laughed and sighed, "He doesn't recognize the 5 grains. How could he become a teacher?" Now, you know why in this portrait Confucius blushed. They won't tell you this story in the Confucius Academy. There's still a temple for God of Farming in Beijing. The photo on the right is the altar for God of Farming. The painting on the bottom left is the offerings displayed on the altar during the worshiping ceremony. Each regime of different dynasties in ancient China would hold the worshiping ceremony for God of Farming, because the stability of the regime depended on agriculture. If the Chinese people were starving, they would rebel and overthrow that regime. The uprising leader will become the new emperor. When their family dynasty became corrupted again, other rebels would replace them. This is a circle of Chinese history which lasted for thousands of years. God of Farming is not only the founder of agriculture, but also the Chinese herbal medicine. He saw some animals chew the herbs when they got hurt, so he climbed up the mountains and wanted to figure out which kind of herb can be used to treat the sick people. There were thousands of different kinds of herbs in the mountain. God of Farming had to taste them one by one. Once, he got poisoned 70 times in a single day. Finally, he chewed a small green leaf from a tree. The poisons in his body were detoxified. That magic small green leaf is the tea leaf. Believe it or not, the Chinese herbal medicine is a kind of science which cannot be explained by Western medical science. It is still popular in China, but the treatment takes a longer time and you have to be lucky to find a good doctor. In modern daily life, people don't have enough time to see a Chinese medicine doctor. We see Western medicine doctor very often, but the Chinese herbal medicine make less side effect to your body because the medicine is made of pure natural herbs. There's no man-made chemicals inside the herbs. I'm not a doctor, But I can tell you the difference between Chinese herbal medicine and Western chemical medicine by a joke. Your body is just like a bowl of clean water, crystal clear and tasteless. Later, you are sick because you had too much sugar. The water tasted sweet. That means you are not healthy. What the Western doctor do is to put some salt inside the sweet water, make the water tasted not so sweet. But the sugar was still in the water. You told the doctor it was not sweet, but salty sweet. Then the doctor put vinegar, soy sauce, chili sauce, and starch inside the water. A bowl of clean water became the sauce for Kung Pao chicken. I'm kidding. Well, what will a traditional Chinese medicine doctor do? He just pour more water in the bowl to dilute the sweetness in the water. This is just theoretically speaking. It's a joke. What's in the traditional Chinese medicine? Root, stem, leaf, flower, fruit, and seed, even bark. Every part of a plant can be used as a Chinese herbal medicine. Our ancestors also used insects and animals in Chinese medicine. I don't want to mention the insects just in case you feel uncomfortable. The truth is, tiger bone, bear gall, rhino horn were used in the traditional Chinese medicine, but they are forbidden now. I will introduce a couple of herbs in our daily life. I have to say that again. I'm not a doctor. Don't kill yourself with Chinese herbs. Rosebud is good to liver, stomach, and blood circulation, especially to a woman's facial skin. It can adjust a woman's period, so it's called lady's flower tea. Chrysanthemum can reduce the inner heat in the body. It's good for eyes. Peach flower is good for blood circulation and the facial skin, but if you had too much, you will have a diarrhea. Honeysuckle can detoxify the poison in the body and stop dysentery. Mulberry is good to kidney. It can lower blood pressure. Chinese wolfberry is good to liver and kidney. Ginger is not just used for cooking. When people catch a cold, they would boil ginger with brown sugar. The brown liquid tastes spicy and sweet. After drinking a big bowl of ginger brown sugar soup, people go to sleep and sweat a lot. The next morning, they will be recovered because ginger can get rid of the cold air in the body. Years ago, people don't use brown sugar anymore. We just boil the ginger with Coca-Cola. It tastes better. Almond is not only a snack, but you have to use the small bitter one. It can stop coughing, lower cholesterol, but it is a little bit poisonous. Ginkgo nut can make the blood less sticky, lower blood pressure and cholesterol, get rid of a phlegm, and stop coughing. Lotus leaf is good for digestion and lose weight. The bud in the lotus seed is good for sleeping. Hawthorn is good for appetite and improve immunity. The two pictures on the left is rhubarb. We boil the dried parts of different herbs in water. It tastes really bitter. Long time ago, when a Chinese took a sip of coffee for the first time, he said, "It tastes like a herbal medicine soup." The Chinese herbal medicine is not popular in the world. The main reason is these herbs are not standardized, not qualified for local FDA. These herbs only rooted in China. Well, that's all for today. Next time, we'll talk about the most popular herb, tea. See you next time. Bye bye.